I'm pretty sure that George Thorogood's record label made him get it correct.
Did you watch any of the Damian Peach interview yesterday?
Who's that?
Astrophotographer, planetary astrophotographer.
You're gonna have to give me a school on who's all here because I'm too busy taking care of my customers.
You need to know about this guy.
David Eichert, I don't know much about, just heard the name. Adam Block, Ron Breacher.
Well, it's because you're new to our community. That's why.
It's true. I haven't got 30 years into it. Almost said 50. I forgot you're still young. I apologize.
40.
40.
Let's see. What was it from 1980, 90, 2000, 2010, 2020? It's 40. Yeah. The big 4-0 in.
You've been around.
I have been around.
Don't worry. I'll tell the town to get off the bike.
There we go.
I'm back.
Oh, you're back. You can jump in the show if you want.
What are we talking about?
Beginning astrophotography.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hit the bathroom.
Okay.
It's true.
So Kent got his root canal.
Where are you going? Hurry up. We got wait on you. We got 3 minutes. I want to go talk to Alex real quick.
Okay.
Back in the lane tail.
Okay. Hello from windy, hazy, southern Arizona. Sorry I missed yesterday's live show. I was at Oracle State Park doing tests for an upcoming virtual star party. Oh, good. Good job, Mike. Harold Locke, good afternoon. The daily JPL and NASA broadcast just finished. It was great. Oh, you know, I couldn't watch it. I was waking. I'll have to watch it later. Cameron, how you doing, dude?
Hello. You like that one?
If you're not talking games,
Brother, this guy just called super.
Hello, Pekka. How are you doing? Harmony Smurf. Hello from Houghton Lake, Michigan. Wonder if you have good seeing across that lake. I bet you do.
my jaw's pretty loose.
Hey, Caesar. How you doing, man?
A team of observatories, including NASA's SWIFT satellite, recently joined forces to trace a hard-to-detect cosmic particle back to its dramatic origin. The particle, called a high-energy neutrino, was likely produced by a tidal disruption event, which occurs when a star passes too close to a black hole. There,
Okay.
causing the star to break apart,
All right, I'm just going to communicate with you.
with some of the material swinging around to form an accretion disk. Neutrinos vastly outnumber all the atoms in the universe, but they have almost no mass and rarely interact with other matter, so they're very hard to pin down. However, scientists have detected them coming from extreme objects like exploding stars. High-energy neutrinos come from even more bizarre places, like superfast particle jets driven by supermassive black holes. Scientists suspected that tidal disruptions could also produce high-energy neutrinos, but they weren't sure where or when in the process the particles might appear. Some suggested powerful jets would create these neutrinos. Regardless of how they're made, though, astronomers expected they'd appear early on, when the event is brightest. However, a high-energy neutrino arriving from a tidal disruption called AT 2019 DSG offered new insights. An observatory called the Zwicky Transient Facility in California discovered the event in April 2019, but it wasn't until October that the Ice Cube Neutrino Observatory in Antarctica detected a high-energy neutrino astronomers linked to this event. Measurements by Swift and other observatories showed that the tidal disruption's visible and ultraviolet light peaked and appeared to plateau, and its X-rays dimmed quickly. However, radio telescopes saw its emissions steadily increase. This meant that some particles were being accelerated, even though superfast particle jets were never detected. So, AT 2019 DSG had the right environment to accelerate particles and produce high-energy neutrinos, and maintained it for a longer period than scientists expected. Astronomers think the neutrino may have come from one of three regions. In the disk close to the black hole, where particles colliding with X-rays could produce neutrinos. Further out in the disk, where particles could interact with UV light, or in broad outflows where particles could collide with each other. This is only the second time a high-energy neutrino has been tied to a source beyond our galaxy. Scientists are searching for links between previous tidal disruptions and other high-energy neutrinos. And, as observatories discover new events, they now have a better idea of where and when they might find these elusive particles.
Well, hello, everybody. This is the 24th episode of the FirstLight Chronicles. And with me today is Tyler Bowman and Kent Martz. And Tyler's going to be talking about the astrophotography contest, which we started. And he's going to be talking about how to get started in astrophotography with what, a DSLR? Is that correct, Tyler?
I have to mute myself because Kent's literally a stone.
Literally right there. See, you guys will be like unmuting and muting each other. Yeah.
Will be throughout the day.
Okay.
At least the broadcast, because we're loud people, unfortunately. But yeah, we're
I'll let you go first.
well, the astrophotography contest is pretty well. We got about 19 entries so far. All good images. I'm expecting and hoping for more.
Right.
You guys can do mainly. And that's what I'm looking for. I don't care if you think it's not good. I want to be the judge. I want to see what you can do. That's the whole goal, is to let novice to amateur astronomers.
Yeah.
I don't care. I just want to see what you as customers and individuals can produce from your backyard, a dark site, just anywhere. It doesn't bother me. It's an exceptional, it's great to know that there's actually other people out there that are willing to do what we do and what we love, whether it's just looking at stars or actually taking pictures of the stars. And that's what I want to incorporate and instill with this contest is it's for everybody. I don't care what gear you got. I just want to see what you can produce.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, I don't know if Kent's got anything for it before I go into my long spiel about astrophotography, because I get on a soapbox and go for days.
Scott needs to close his door. I think there's some weird sound coming from somewhere.
Not from me. Not
Okay, you
from
don't think it's from you? Okay, so it's got to be Tyler then, because I was muted. I think people are scared to start in astrophotography because it looks complicated. And, but you just have to start like anything else. You just got to go fishing and cast the line and see what you catch. And, just get after it and start doing it. And, the improvement I've seen from people over a month or two is just astounding. Whether they're using a telescope or a DSLR, they learn to manipulate it, and it gets so much better so quickly. Very impressive. Even look, Tyler can do it. If Tyler can do it, y'all don't know Tyler. If Tyler can do it,
No. Tyler's very dedicated, and he's put a lot of hard work into it. It's not easy for anybody, although for some people, I don't know, I get jealous how easy it is for some. That's true.
I used to have, don't make fun of me. This is what one of my uncles, Uncle Dickie, he could literally hear music and he could turn around and play it. I don't know how he did it. He was just that articulate.
Yeah.
Just like anything else in the world, if you want to be good at something, you have to either practice at it for a long period of time before you actually get decent. And then you just have to evolve those skills. Everything is a skill. Nobody's going to get this down. If you do, perfect. Train someone else that's having a hard time. I mean, we're all in this together. And if you can do it, or if you want to get started on it, it's just going to take a lot of practice. What do you got to lose? Time?
Well, it's fun. I mean, frankly, it's fun working with your equipment. And if you look at every little piece of it and not just look at the end game, but every little piece of it is like this enjoyable time with your telescope, enjoyable to be out under the stars, enjoyable to be thinking about astronomy, then all of it's good, so and rewarding for yourself too. So I think that's great.
I mean, if it were easy, it would just get boring. It would.
Sure.
And that's what's a challenge. There's always something that's changed. You got the environment you're messing with, equipment issues. Doesn't matter. That's what makes it entertaining. And there's a ton of objects to shoot.
That's what makes golf challenging, right? If you're playing golf, I mean, if it was, you could just hit the ball and make a hole in one every time.
Fishing.
First time I went golfing in college with some friends.
Yeah.
I shot we went to a 9-hole course, and I shot a 36. And then we went to the second hole, and they told me to drive the golf cart and drink beer.
They didn't have to mow the lawn after you were done with it, huh? Right? Maybe add some more grass.
And that's not a joke. That's a true story.
That's a true story. Hey, it's not easy, but somehow it becomes, rewarding. That's true. So we have, let's look who we've got here. We've got Pekka on from Stockholm. Adhe Buja, I think maybe is how it's pronounced. Says hello from Kosovo. Richard Grace is on. He's looking forward to the cell phone category. Tyler, I promised everybody that there would be a cell phone astrophotography contest. So
it will happen. I mean, I know Mike Wiesner, all hail Mike Wiesner and the cell phone.
Yeah,
There's
more than Mike doing it,
I didn't even know Richard Grace actually did it. In fact, I need Richard to call me after the show as well, because I have some things I need to tell him and talk to him about as well.
Cool.
Just whenever.
Aaron Thompson says, some people do make things appear too easy. Last night, I got an Aurora notification and drove north of town in the cold. Set up, waited, enjoyed the outdoors, left empty-handed this time. Okay, well, but you still got outdoors, right? It's good for you. Cameron Gillis, what I'm really excited about astrophotography or astroimaging is being able to share the observing experience. That's true. It's true. It's a great way to do outreach.
And that's why we do the virtual star parties.
And that's why we do it. That's right. And that's why Cameron's on it. So, yeah, that's right. And Caesar just finished up his Etta Carina shot. I'm not sure how he did it, though. I'm wondering if he used a astro camera or a cell phone. So
I want to see the Etta Carina. Oh, it's a beautiful, beautiful.
Oh yeah, to see it in real life is incredible. It really is. Yeah, and so, but in 2 minutes or less, Tyler, somebody said, "Hey, I want to get started in astrophotography. How should I do it?" What do you recommend to them?
The DSLR, you can use
Okay.
zoom, kit lens, doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Start and a tripod. There, I'm done. That's it.
You're done.
The rule of 500.
Mount, nothing, no tripod.
Use a try. I mean, if basic beginner DSLR with a zoom kit lens, couple
Okay.
bucks, you can buy them used.
Handheld astrophotography? No.
One, you can get an intervalometer, but it's not going to
Yeah.
do any bit of good without an actual tracker, and a tripod. And
And a tripod. I would agree.
the rule, what is it, Kent? Rule 500?
Rule of 500.
You just Kent will have to go a little bit more 'cause I'm not a big DSLR user. I'm going down that field for beginners in case they have questions. I can answer it. But Kent will go a little bit more into the 500 rule with DSLRs.
Mhm.
You can only do with a non-tracking mount and just tripod and camera. Depending on your focal length that you're using on a lens, well, maybe 10 to 15 seconds. Just depends.
Okay, real quick. I'll jump in on the rule of 500 because it gets into this. The rule of 500 is you take 500 and divide it by the focal length of your lens. Okay. And that number is the theoretical number of seconds you can leave the shutter open and not have star trails. Okay. Now, this is obviously if you have a solid tripod mount, nothing moving. Now that I'll also throw this in, if you're using a zoom lens, whether a slider or a rotator, my advice is once you decide how you want your field set, to tape that sucker down with gaffer's tape, because you don't want it to. Tyler, hold up that camera, that camera lens real quick, and turn it. And if it starts turning while you're exposing, bad things happen to your exposure. You get zoom stars, and a little bit, you're going to think it's coma or something. Well, it could be your sliding zoom lens sliding down, or it could be slightly turning just from the pressure of the lens. Just by holding it, just turn the camera up, and it's the pressure of it can just make it. See right there, it moved. It moves on its own. Turn it over, Tyler. And so press on it, and it doesn't take much to make it move. That happens, all your night's gone, and you just hosed yourself for an hour or two. So the rule of 500: take the number 500, divide it by the focal length of your lens, and that's a good rule of thumb to start your exposure with seconds to not have star trails. Obviously, you're going to have to play with f-stop to get exposure. You got ISO involved, things like that. But that's the rule of 500.
On the f-stop, wider open the aperture that you get, the more light that could be let in, the more stars and fainter things you're going to pick up in the night sky. The other thing that you can do with DSLRs is you can astro mod them. They are kind of expensive, depending on what camera. I started out with a Canon T3i. It was 150 bucks. Then I sent it to a specialist that took out the IR filter, so it's more hydrogen alpha sensitive, and that was about another 150 bucks. It was on the cheaper end, but it did what I needed to do. I threw on a zoom lens. I was good to go.
So from my back in the days of doing this, I found out that wide open was not the best, because yes, it gave me quicker exposures, but it also created some coma and some potential focus issues. So backing off maybe one f-stop from wide open, I found, and I have read other people say the same thing, wide open's okay, but you might get better pictures by backing off a half an f-stop or a full f-stop.
That makes sense. I mean, but the starting out, I mean, that's the great thing about all this is you can just practice and practice. You got all night. I mean, unless you're really wanting to nail down something, if you want to experiment, just practice with different exposures, practice with different f-stops, see what you get. Try it with different zooms. I mean, that's the whole point of this, is to experiment. See what you like and see what you can get.
Back in the day, the beautiful thing is people today have instant feedback. They can take one exposure and look at it on the back of the camera or download it to the computer and have feedback. Scott, I know, has experienced this. You shoot 36 exposures, and then you either have to send it off or go inside and develop it in your own black and white darkroom.
Mhm.
And the feedback loop was days long, potentially. You know, was
At
doing
least
my own-
hours, at least hours long.
yeah. I would could about a 30-minute. By the time I processed the film, stuck it in a dryer, pulled it out, look at the negative with a loop. I was 30-45 minutes into it, and then back out to try something else. And I bulk loaded film, so I'd load up 4 exposures, go shoot 4 exposures, go in the dark room, come back out. And it was tedious and much more of a challenge. The feedback loop today is instantaneous. You can make so much more progress than
That's
you could
true.
back in the 80s and 90s. It's fabulous.
And I think I'm going to, one of our CSR reps here is interested in getting into astrophotography, but she's only got a DSLR. I
Well,
think
that's all she needs, right?
that's all she needs. Getting started, you betcha. If you have it, use it.
So we need to document her journey from day one scratch and have her do a blog or something.
You're going to make our new CSR rep do that. You're funny.
Sure. And
We'll
the
just have
fact,
her on the show and give a
Absolutely.
report.
I think we should,
I think that'll be a good idea.
starting tomorrow.
Starting tomorrow. Well, you got to have clear skies first, and it ain't clear outside. So
I mean, you can always get practice with just messing with exposures and seeing what an f-stop does to the picture. What does
True.
adjusting the ISO do to the picture? I mean, you can experiment during the daytime. We tell people to do it with telescopes when they were trying to get their back focus and get everything in focus. We tell them to do it during the day.
mhm.
Why not? Why can't you do DSLRs during the day?
Right. Well, there is
That was
a big star outside anyway, so if it's not
True.
hiding behind clouds.
which it is today as well.
So just a little shout out here from Harold Locke about our customer service department, which is very nice. Thank you, Harold. He says, I want to compliment your web page customer service chat crew, which is the same crew that does our phones and the same crew that does all kinds of things. He said, I had Aria today and it was great. The questions I asked were dealt with professionally and quick. So thank you very much. That's very nice, Harold. Very nice.
So Aria got a shout out. Awesome.
Yep. Aaron B. Thompson, taking different images of a tree or building at night teaches a lot. How to reduce the graininess, find the brightness you want if you cannot practice on stars. That's true. You can do ambient light.
Because I've heard people collimation on either SCTs or max Sudol Cassegrains is they'll use the telephone pole. They'll use the little, what are those things called that hold the wire?
Yeah.
Insulators.
Insulators. Yeah, because they get a specular highlight off of it. I used to collimate my telescope off the reflection off of a chrome bumper on a car,
Or a Christmas ornament. I've heard that one too.
Christmas ornament too.
Ball bearing with a
Ball
bright
bearing,
flashlight
that's
shining
right.
on it.
Anything that can make a specular highlight works pretty good, especially if it's a round specular highlight. Sometimes on the corner of a bumper on a car, if it's chrome, it makes kind of a oblong kind of looking thing. So you do want it to be round.
Scott, what do you think about DSLR stuff?
What I think it's awesome.
Well, I mean, what is your 2 cents on it? Me and Ken have gave our 2 cents. What about yours?
My 2 cents are, well, first off, my first cent is that my first cent is that you get out and do it. Use whatever you got. Okay. Use whatever you got and get out and start imaging the sky, and then, my second one is that you basically, make a mindset that you're going to do continual improvement. And if you do that, okay, you will quickly increase your skill set. Your images will look better and better and better. Don't set up unreasonable expectations like, okay, well, my first shot had, I got the Orion Nebula sorta, and I've got wiggly stars. But But I want my next shot to look like a shot from NASA or something. Yeah, you can't make that kind of leap. Okay, but if you are getting better focus, you're getting better tracking, you're getting better, composition, exposures, and then you're starting to learn just some baby steps in image processing. It'll take you a long way, and the more often you do it, the better you get, so that's true in all kinds of photography, not just astrophotography. And that's my 2 cents.
Okay, so Scott, Larry Bird's asked a question. Do
Okay.
we send out paper copies of Skies Up?
No, not yet. Not yet. We may have the capability in a few months to do that. But as of right now, no. The idea of it, Larry, is that it's a global magazine, and that it is it's free, So while we get the content, okay, which is really the hard part, printing it out and sending it to a guy in, let's say, Cameroon, for example, okay,
Abante.
right? In Monte, he might want a hard copy. That it would be very, very expensive to do that. So I think that if we go to shows, for example, if we go to the Northeast Astronomy Forum, maybe I'll have 50 of them printed up to hand out, something like that. Printing them and mailing them, though, is expensive, and frankly, the idea was that it was going to be free, and I wouldn't want to have to charge someone for it because we'd have to.
Okay, so
Oh, and by the way, the next issue of Skies Up is being put together now, so it's going to be a great magazine with contributors from around the world, just like last time.
okay, so we spent the last 3 months now, back to astrophotography. We spent the last 3 months working with our DSLR that we already own.
Yeah.
And we were getting pictures and we're doing some stacking, and we want to take that next step. And that next step probably is going to be an IXOS 100. That is a go-to tracker, very flexible, works well with a DSLR or a small ED 80 millimeter telescope. My advice is to take it one step at a time. If you got a DSLR, once you progress past the tripod stage, the next step is get a mount that follows the stars across the sky. And with us, entry level to real high end work can be done with the IXOS 100. And so the next step is, okay, so you've got a mount now. I want to go to the next step and start maybe attaching my camera to a telescope. And most people want to go really big and buy a 127. And my advice is always to go with a wide field, short focal length telescope like an ED80, because a big telescope magnifies things that you're trying to take pictures of, but it also magnifies every mistake and every problem you have. And it's easier to work your way up, to play with the big boys, to drive in the Indy 500, to work your way up to that. And, go to an ED80 and master that, and really, really master the programming it takes to run the telescope, the manipulation, the stacking, all that stuff. Then move up to a bigger telescope. Make a progression out of it. Some people say, well, it's going to cost me more money. My point is, you're going to make sure you want to do it, because I've seen people buy really big telescopes and really expensive mounts and not want to do it. 6 months later or 3 months later, it's for sale. And, that costs them more money than working your way through it, I've always thought.
I usually try to tell people, Kent, if you decide to go with astrophotography, you're always going to change the body of the camera. These will always change. These will change faster than a telescope will. So if you want to get started in it, like Kent said, I always tell people ED80, wide field. You're not showing as much as mistakes as you could be with a 127. or a 102 or
And
larger.
the longer the focal length, the more sensitive it is to tracking errors and
Correct.
all kinds of stuff. So,
The 80 is a lot more forgiving. And you get that beautiful Andromeda's in the full frame. It's just gorgeous when you can just take a picture of the whole Andromeda and she fits from corner to corner in that frame. Oh, it's gorgeous. Prettiest thing I've ever seen.
Hmm.
I always recommend people get the telescope you want that will last 5-6 years, because you're always going to either change them out or change camera, but stick with a body that you want, and all the little stuff will change with it, and you can upgrade as you get more experience in it. Because I've gone through 3 mounts and I've got the one I wanted. Telescopes, a lot.
how many telescopes have you gone through?
I originally started with an Orion ST120.
Okay.
It was a great all metal refractor doublet. It
Mhm.
was 600 millimeters of focal length. I didn't like the chromatic aberration, but it was a good start. And then I went to an ED80 and I kept it for 4 years. And then I got a 127, and that's where I've stayed. Is
I
a
see.
127. I find the 127 is a good happy medium. It's got enough
You like that? Yeah.
it's got enough reach. It can reach out and touch some things. If I want to pull it back, I can throw a reducer on it, and I can still get Andromeda in there.
Awesome.
But that's just my opinion.
Well, it's your choice. Yeah, that's right.
One thing people are going to see, we haven't talked, camera lenses are not designed for astrophotography. And almost all camera lenses, especially at wide angles, are going to have comas in the corners. So the stars are going to look like little teardrops. The other thing is,
Some camera lenses, though, actually are fairly good, but
Mhm.
but they're rare. Like Molly Wakeling always talks about the Rokinon 135 millimeter f2.8, I think is what the one that she loves. And that one does, I mean, it's very, very nice for astrophotography. And a lot of astrophotographers know about it. But what Kent is saying is absolutely right. They're not corrected for pinpoint specular, pinpoints all the way from the center to the edge. They're designed for, things that are large scale, buildings, landscapes, this
people,
kind of stuff.
yeah, they're also have chromatic aberration
Hmm.
because, we're talking about kit lenses, the things you buy when you buy a package deal. Almost all camera lenses I've ever had have had chromatic aberration. So
Yeah.
if you're shooting black and white, you don't see it. But if you start shooting color, then you start seeing on Saturn or Jupiter, bright stars, you'll start seeing blue on one side and red on the other. That's the just like a prism breaks the light into a rainbow.
Yeah.
That lens is acting like a prism. It's starting to break it into a rainbow. And so you see the red and the blue on the either side. And that is something that you just have to work through and, deal with. Black and white is a wonderful way to deal with it. Just shoot it in grayscale, learn to process a little bit, then start working. So those are things that drives you into a telescope because it's designed to deal with chromatic aberration and pinpoint stars.
Right.
One thing I've noticed with my DSLR, I picked up a Canon RA, which is just straight dedicated DSLR camera. I noticed that with a zoom lens, it's actually this zoom lens, this one here,
Yeah.
stars were showing me the red and the blue. How I combated that was I put a light pollution filter in it, or clip-in filter, and that negated some of it. A vast majority of it was helped with the filter.
What's a clip-in filter, Tyler?
So I'm not going to take this out at all because I don't want to expose the sensor. But a clip-in filter is literally that. It's a filter that will literally just clip into the housing right in front of the sensor. So it's just sitting in there.
Mm-hmm.
You sit right on top of it.
So Tyler, that's your camera. It's not the company D5, right? Okay.
This is the D5. This is the company's.
Okay. So on Tyler's camera, there's that he bought the T3i or whatever it was. They removed a filter that every digital camera has. He paid to have it removed. There's an infrared filter, cut filter, that cuts out the infrared light that makes the DSLR take not sensitive to the infrared light, because the sensor is sensitive to infrared light. By taking that out, you are now capable of taking pictures of nebulas that the camera without that filter, can't see, because that light is completely not getting to the sensor. You take that filter out and voila, you get much better pictures of the sky. I've always thought it would be astounding if we could see in the infrared, because the sky would just be aglow with these brilliant red clouds everywhere. That would be cool to be able to see eyeball Mark 1 be in a infrared. And Mike Wiesner will appreciate the reference to eyeball Mark 1, because I'll credit him for it. Thank you, Mike Wiesner.
Yep. Well, it was a good discussion, I think, overall, about DSLR photography, and some good advice. A lot of people are thinking about getting into the better systems and doing more astrophotography. Pekka says, I have a full modified Canon T3i. I could tell that it is brilliant and very fast to catch the light. So I think that we should continue doing challenging our group with DSLR astrophotography. But where are we right now, Tyler, with the astrophotography contest? And you are muted.
I'll jump in. He's doing something. It looks like it goes through the March 18th,
Okay.
I believe. So it's just started. It goes through March 18th. It's open to anybody doing astrophotography. Details on our website.
So any telescope, any mount, anything, any brand,
Right.
just has to be done with the DSLR.
Correct. The entries are being accepted through 11:59 p.m. Central Standard Time till March 18th, 2021.
Okay.
And where's the link at on our website so they can see the rules? Because there are rules.
I'll actually post it in the chat on Facebook. I can't think.
Somebody just posted it. Was that you, Kent?
That was me.
Okay. All right.
That's the link right there.
That's the link.
You entered. But you do have to be a legacy member, though, with the Explorer Alliance.
Well,
Which
you don't have to be a legacy member to enter, but you got to be a legacy member to win a prize.
True.
Well, you just have to be an Explorer Alliance member, because you could also
Right.
be a platinum member and enter.
Well, that platinum membership is a tremendous membership. You pay $100, actually, $99.99. And once we process it, then immediately you're going to get back in, a day to a week, a $100 gift card. So you're going to make a penny to pay for your time to join the Explorer Alliance. And we're going to give you a gift card and give that money back to you that you can use to buy anything with. You get extended care on all your products. You get access to special deals. We're working on some deals we're going to have for Explorer Alliance members. We currently have going on a backpack special where you can get our new backpack that will hold a Explorer Scientific 102 millimeter telescope or smaller. $99.99 on sale for $79.99. So 20% off for paid Explorer Alliance members.
It will hold. Can't don't forget that.
Say again.
It will hold an IXOS 100 as well.
It will hold an IXOS 100 and strap the tripod on the outside. Yep.
But Pekka would like for me to show. He sent an image over to us. Did you also get copied on that?
I'm not important like you.
I don't.
Hold on.
No.
Hold on. Oh, Tyler, he did send you the image.
Oh, fiddle.
in your email.
Oh, fiddle. Petka?
Yeah, Pekka Hautala at Outlook.
Let me see. Oh, he's gonna hit me. He's gonna hit me because I can't find it. Oh no.
P-E-K-K-A.
Let me see. Petka Hatila. There it is.
Yep.
Hang on, hang on. I don't have an image.
Okay, I got it. Hold on for a second.
Image. I do have emails from him though, but no image.
I have an image.
Oh,
Well, eventually it will load up here. Hold on.
I'm still. Is Mr. Del Pra on at all? Have you noticed?
Stefan?
Yes, Stefan.
Stefan, I don't know if he's on or not. Wait a minute. See a new image. No,
Let's see about Caesar
I
Brolo.
don't see Stefan on right now.
Caesar Brolo is actually asking a question about photo lenses. About photo lenses is going to know about the best F number performance of each lenses that we use. Sometimes a smaller F number helps in the quantity's final image, which I can agree with that. But I mean, that's the good thing about this, Ms. Cesar, is you get to experiment the whole time when you're in the backyard. You can either drink water while you're experimenting with different things and trying to see what you can produce with your DSLR. And that's the beauty part about it, is any DSLR will work as long as you're willing to be patient with it.
I think patience is a key, and we haven't talked about that. You have to be patient with all the aspects of this, because you're not going to get instant gratification. We as a society have become so used to instant gratification that if we don't get something right out of the gate, we chunk it in the trash bin and get on down the road. You've got to have patience. You've got to have perseverance to make this work and to get really good at it.
And that's not a negative. I mean, having that patience, slowing down, diverting your mind from all the, your worries of the day, and focusing on something else is literally one of the great benefits of any of these, hobbies and lifestyles that people get into. And, it's good for you. So it's not so much patience, but really just kind of being in the moment and really diving into it, So, and if you are always kind of jumping ahead and wanting to see that end result so that you can feel gratified with the end result, then what about the journey, So.
Hey, Harold, I saw that you asked why it hadn't shipped your backpack and a planisphere and stuff. I'm not sure why, because it should have shipped by now. So I'm going to check that out for you. Also, you are an Explorer Alliance Platinum member, and you went through the website and got the full price. So I'm going to send you a $20 gift certificate or gift card.
That's nice. That's
back
good.
to take care of you, because you're EA member. I'll take care of you. If we have a sale on, we'll take care of you, and I'll get you that $20 back.
All right. So Pekka shared a couple of images with me, which I'm going to share with you now. Here we go. This is one right here. And he said, what is his comments? I'd like to share a picture. He said, I'm sharing a picture. I'm going to join the DSLR contest. The only rule is that it is taken with DSLR and space. Just kidding. I wanted to share my first DIY moon that I made today to be part of my micro solar system for the coming summer. I'd like to show kids the size of our solar system, and I have a good place for that, just a couple of feet from my home. It's a grass soccer plane, and shows kids the size of the solar system. Oh, excuse me. And it's round, so it's just perfect. My solar system is going to have a scale of 1 to 21 million, I think is what it is. So Earth is 60 millimeters and the moon is 16.2 millimeters. And there's plenty of kids from 6 to 12 years old in the neighborhood, of course, hoping their parents will join them. I think they are more, I think they might be more interested. They'll also have to cleanse to look at the moon through my telescope and binoculars. I think that's cool, Pekka, that you're doing outreach like that. So,
So Pekka, how far away is the moon from the Earth at this scale? Would it be 21 feet? Is that going to be right? Let us know in the comments, because I'm
you
curious.
can tell us in meters, so that's okay too.
Yeah, in meters. Yeah, absolutely. Meters would be great. So that'll be cool. But that is cool. And that is astrophotography. You could enter that in the contest, and we might create a category called most creative or most unique or something, because Tyler makes up the rules, and Tyler can make up that
He
contest.
just makes up the rules.
Tyler makes up the categories. He could give a committee judges award or something. So that's cool.
Okay.
So hopefully Pekka says what the scale is.
And he has a second one here. Let me see if I can pull that up here. Stop sharing here and share that one. Here we go. So that's his moon over on to the left. It's quite a bit smaller than the Earth. I don't know. It's going to be fun to make the solar system model. Good job, Pekka. Yeah. Anyways, we should have a solar system model in front of Explore Scientific. That should be a project that we have.
The problem is, though, if we make the moon like 8 feet in diameter, Pluto will be out there in the interstate, and it'll be the size of a grain of sand. So it'll be hard to do a scale model, but we could do that and plant them all over town.
We could do that.
Yeah.
Have a maybe make a bigger one and plant the solar system all over the United States, and then depend and have somebody move the planet so that we can make this giant treasure hunt. And if you know the motion of the planets, you can find the treasure. you're
sort of like geocaching almost.
Sort of. That's right. So anyhow, so we had Damian Peach on yesterday, which was really cool. Unfortunately, we lost internet. That does sometimes happen on these programs, but none of Damian's fault at all. He agreed to come back on next Wednesday, so we're going to do that. Next Tuesday, we have the 34th Global Star Party. And then next Friday, Gary Palmer says he'll be ready for this, will be the 35th Global Star Party. So we'll have a European edition. So it's going to be not a lot of sleep for me, but it'll be a lot of fun. So, those of you watching from Europe, you might want to join in. You can get in touch with me, or you can get in touch with Gary Palmer and sign up. So, but Gary will be on our program tomorrow with Jerry Hubble and for the Open Go-To community, and he'll talk a little bit about the European edition Global Star Party. So until that time, you guys have anything else you'd like to share? Anything else? Anything from the audience, you guys? You want to ask a question? Or Pekka says 1.82 meters was the answer to your question. Because you said, what's the distance from the Earth to the moon in the scale you've built? 1.82 meters. So
that's 6 feet. Call that, it's 5.97 feet. So just call it 6 feet to be clear. I saw Bergman just popped up. Bergman Scooter's with us. Hey, Bergman.
Yeah. He says, oh, I forgot I'm here. Thanks for saying hello. All right. Well, I think that's our show for the day. And we'll be back tomorrow about the same time, 4 o'clock Central. And it's going to be, I think, a nice weekend. I hope it's clear wherever you guys are, and you guys keep looking up, as my friend Jack Horkheimer always used to like to say. Take care. Good night.